You want to share with the class what you're reading?
Looking at Star Wars names.
Just names?
Mm-hmm.
Like the names that we're looking at right now on the screen, or
like actual characters.
What was our way of making up a Star Wars name? It was like hit somebody and just like the noise that they make.
Oh, the Lucian.
Yeah.
the Lucian language. Yeah, it was like the noise you make when you stub your toe.
It's like, I'm gonna poke you in the eye. Pop.
Yeah. Your name is now.
Now.
Ninya.
Good times. Good times.
Good times. The good times are killing me. I just re-listened to that whole album.
That's a damn good album.
It's a really good album. Good news for people that love bad news by Modest Mouse. Up next, this is Tommy.
That's Jacob's.
Tommy Jacob's mixtape. That was a good one.
Up next.
I'm Tommy Tarkin with my cohort Jacob the Hutt.
Oh, damn.
That one I came up with on the spot.
There you go. I was like, what are you just going to... now you got to come up with one next week.
Well, that's why I was looking at names. I was like, I need something. And then I thought of Jacob the Hutt. And then, because we just talked about Tarkin. So,
all right.
That was my logic.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, I should have gone with Tommy Tessick. That's what I should have said.
Well, too late now.
Because Jabba the Hutt and Tessick.
Yeah. But, I mean, you already said what you said. Hi, everybody.
The big slug over there.
We're gonna start talking to you guys and not us anymore. Welcome back.
I like that a lot. Tommy Tarkin. I think I'm gonna name that in my next RPG game, like Elder Scrolls or something.
Do you have like a... All right, we'll go down this rabbit hole real quick. Do you have like a specific name that for certain characters, like main characters, like in Elder Scrolls or anything, that you like to do that's not your name?
Anytime I play like Elder Scrolls, and if I'm gonna do a vampire run, I just name them Lestat just for shits and giggles. That's not really creative, but I've just done that since like middle school, so it's just kind of like a habit now.
That's fair. Whenever I play a Dragon Quest game, this is specifically only Dragon Quest.
That's weird.
I name my main character because the hero generally doesn't. The hero is always nameless unless
it's the hero.
Yeah, because you're supposed to be like it's a reflection of you essentially.
Yeah.
So most of the time, I name them Deeker.
Deeker.
Yeah, Dekar.
Deeker.
And I don't know why. I just think that name is really cool for like a fantasy world. All right. So today, welcome back. We are continuing with This is the May.
Part 2. 3. No. Yeah, kind of.
2.5.
Lion King 1.5.
Simba's Pride?
No, there's a Lion King 1.
Oh, no, that's the one with Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah.
No, Simba's Pride, that's the actual sequel.
So, yeah, with like Scar's kid or something.
Something like that, yeah. Anywho, today we're talking about The Last Jedi. Star Wars, Episode 8.
Still a Disney property.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Episode 8, The Last Jedi. One of the more polarizing of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
I think actually this is in American cinema. This goes down in history as like one of the most polarized between critics and fans.
Yeah, 100%.
Split like.
Well, especially like one thing that I was reading is it's generally like the critics hate it, but the fans love it.
It's completely opposite with this.
Yeah.
Like hardcore.
It's got a 7.0 on IMDb. It came out December 15th of 2017.
Weird. A Star Wars movie that came out around Christmas time. That's crazy.
Well, they used to not.
I know, but now they always do.
Yeah. I don't know, because I don't know.
That's weird. We never did we talk about Star Wars associating Christmas with Star Wars when we did our Star Wars our holiday special?
I mean, we talked about this Star Wars Christmas or holiday special.
No, but I mean, like, remember we were saying like movies that you associate with the holiday?
I did, right? No, you associated Lord of the Rings.
Right.
And
I'm questioning what I associate. Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't really associate Star Wars with holidays.
I don't either.
I associate Star Wars with summertime. Because that's I don't know.
Summer blockbuster, yada yada.
Yeah. So it came out December 15th of 2017. Guess where it was in the world for movies on box office, guys. Guess.
Take it. You'll never get it. ever.
Number one again. Yeah, because, I mean, Star Wars is just going to be that way.
I think it's always going to be.
Yeah.
Even though, quote unquote, the fans hate the trilogy, it's like it's always you're gonna see it. So like,
yeah, exactly.
It's always gonna end up in that spot.
And then like just to give you an idea, like I know it wasn't that long ago, but top 10 movies like Beauty and the Beast, Wonder Woman, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle.
Second one, right?
Yeah, technically the second one.
The second of that, like rehashed.
No, Welcome to the Jungle. That's
Is that the first with the Rock? And
yes.
Oh
Yeah.
What's the second one called? I don't know.
Ready to Rumble? I don't know. Something like that.
You got me. I was like, oh yeah, totally. Jumanji, you smell what's cooking?
Yes, smell.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Volume 2, yeah.
I only wrote down the 5.
Oh,
so.
it's Spokane. Spokane.
Spokane.
Whoa. All right. That Spider-Man: Homecoming. It, Thor: Ragnarok, Despicable Me 3, which I thought was, I don't know, makes sense, but I was surprised. I didn't realize better.
I didn't know there was a third one until I read the list.
And Justice League. And I just want to throw out number 11, Logan, because Logan is fucking awesome.
Logan was phenomenal.
Did you do your count of the...
out of the 200 movies released that year, I saw...
I just did the top 100.
Oh, I did. I saw 38 of them.
Out of the top, I did top 101 because 101st was Disaster Artist, and I was like, I want to count that.
Oh, okay.
34 of the top 100 movies.
34, weird, close.
Yeah, and then 14 of the top 20.
You're getting like way more detailed about your list.
I'm just getting kind of like, I'm just like, I wonder how many of these have I seen. But yeah. Like I said, like this movie wasn't that far out, so I mean, a lot of these movies are pretty fresh for people. It's not like, remember Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah,
the live action one.
I was really confused when I said Beauty and the Beast because I completely forgot there was a live action one. I was like, what?
Yeah, it didn't really get reviewed very well. Did it get? I don't know. It's just kind of got like lost in the lost behind Star Wars or something.
I enjoyed it.
And it came out in March, so it was really not going up against anything really. Logan.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I mainly liked it for the casting of Gaston and...
Oh, yeah. What's his...
Philippe? What is his name?
Oh, yeah. I think you're right.
But yeah, the casting was... That whole... No one does good. That whole scene is still like one of my favorite scenes in that movie. Like, he's just a great bad guy. Sorry, Beauty and the Beast.
Anyway, so let's let you ready to go? You got your Tommy synopsis?
Tommy synopsis
ready?
Young woman has to convince former religious zealot hermit to come back out of retirement and teach her magic powers.
I like how you're calling the Force magic powers. So many like Star Wars nerds be like, it's not magic.
Well, like it was that whole like kind of like running joke about
it's space wizards and
that, and then like that, and the whole like what is the Force? I don't know. You like can mess with people's minds and like lift rocks and like her like, oh, wow. That's impressive. Every single word in that sentence was completely wrong. That's and also because when they did talk about it being a religion, I for some reason, never really thought about it as a religion.
Did they ever actually say it's a religion in any of the movies previous to this one?
Yeah, actually, because after I watched this, know what I did when I got home? I watched A New Hope.
Oh, okay.
And it is brought up. Oh, and I do want to correct something that we said on the last episode about Force Awakens being the first time that blood is shown. A New Hope.
Oh, that's right. When the arm gets cut off.
Yeah, which also I'm like, when that car...
That's the only time that blood was shown at all through all of it then.
Yeah, but that was like
up until the Stormtrooper.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't trust myself anymore because I completely forgot about that whole arm cutting off. What is it with Star Wars and cutting off hands?
Who needs a limb? I don't know.
It's just always, everyone's just losing hands a lot. And also, I don't get why there's blood if it's a lightsaber.
Yeah, wouldn't it just cauterize the wound?
Just like Darth Maul cut in half.
I mean, I don't know. It was George Lucas's first time, man. He was still figuring out the world. We didn't even have Empire when he was doing that.
Dude, that CG added is so bad.
Oh, dude, yeah, I know.
It takes you so out of like the reality.
No, because it's so separate. But we're not talking about that.
Yeah, sorry. Mm-hmm. Yes. So, crazy wizard man teaches young lady about magic reluctantly.
Yeah. So, let's move into who wrote and directed this movie.
I always do like this kind of situation where it is writer and director is the same person.
Yeah.
Because I've
Easier for research.
well, not even that. It just like because then it like takes out this like who's to blame for what. So anything wrong with it, it's one person as opposed to,
or it could be the producer's problem.
Well, you know, but I just like being able to blame one person for stupid decisions.
It's your fault.
It's all your fault.
You made it bad.
So yeah, director and writer is Ryan Johnson, who you may recognize from such things as Brick, Brothers Bloom, Looper, or more recently Knives Out and the upcoming Knives Out cinematic universe
trilogy or whatever that's happening.
It's going to be. Yeah.
And then he did 3 episodes of Breaking Bad as well. Directed 3 episodes of Breaking Bad, and like really, he literally didn't do a whole lot before Star Wars. Like Brick was like his breakthrough thing.
I never realized that I liked him so much as a director.
Oh, he's a great director.
Brick, great. Brothers Bloom, wonderful.
I've never seen Brothers Bloom.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, everybody check out Brothers Bloom. It's like
That's Adrian Brody
and Mark
Ruffalo?
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo.
And Rachel Weisz, right?
Yeah, and they are like 2 brother con artists. It's like
it's like an adventure comedy thing.
Yeah, like a heist con comedy. It's very like if you liked Knives Out, then definitely check out Brothers Bloom. I think it's phenomenal. And then Looper, like a cool time travel assassination.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Looper.
I just liked them together.
Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
He likes Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I take it.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, he specifically chose Joseph Gordon-Levitt to play Bruce Willis, a young Bruce Willis.
But yeah, if you're looking for like a fun kind of stupid sci-fi, I just like his style a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into it maybe. It's like I'm not sure how much he really actually. I don't know. We'll talk about this.
But also, I also respect directors that are able to write their stuff and then direct it. Because all the titles that I listed, he also wrote. So,
yeah, exactly.
Which I think is cool.
And the only stuff that he didn't write and direct or like music videos for the Mountain Goats of all people.
The Mountain Goats.
Yeah, the Mountain Goats. Tallahassee. Okay. Anybody out there? I know the Mountain Goats. Let me know. Where's Taylor? He'll help you.
I really wish we had a soundboard.
Yeah.
Cricket. Yes. Indigo. Would you stop that?
Who needs a soundboard? We are the soundboard. All right.
But yeah, so Ryan Johnson, director, writer, does the stuff he did.
Do I want to hold on a sec here? So before we move into the cast, or maybe I want to do this before we move into the reviews. I have a couple of notes that I did, looking at like the development of this Star Wars and kind of like where this sequel trilogy was going, and it was just kind of interesting. So, I mean, I'm doing it right now. I might as well talk about it. So the original 6 before the sequel trilogy were written exclusively and looked over exclusively by George Lucas.
Yeah, wasn't that the whole deal? Is anything to be canon, he had to give the stamp of approval.
So then, what did I write? It's like while you have, so with that in mind, now you have these 3 new movies with 3 or more different writers, and with all ideas that don't seem to match up. You know. So like what they said at the beginning, through like announcing the stuff, like Disney announced the new trilogy. That was going to be J.J. Abrams, named for the director of the first one, Force Awakens. And then in 2014, Ryan Johnson was reported in talks for this one, Episode 8, and for him to write a treatment for the 3rd film, Episode 9, as well. Johnson was then confirmed in August that he would also direct Episode 8. Going further, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy said that the film had not been mapped out, and Abrams was collaborating with Johnson, who would in turn work with then Episode 9 director Colin Trevorrow to ensure a smooth transition. So it pretty much, from the get-go of this sequel trilogy, you have these producers that are saying like, okay, we're going to have this 3 overarching storyline for 3 movies, have a different writer on each fucking movie. Like, how do you expect there to be a successful trilogy when you don't have one person? I mean, J.J. Abrams is, executive producer, supposed to be overlooking it, but then why aren't you just having that one person write that and maybe hiring other people to help with screenplay? One person creates the story, as opposed to J.J. Abrams' idea, The Force Awakens. We saw that. We already talked about that. We're now going to talk about The Last Jedi. This is Rian Johnson's version of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And you can feel, and we'll get into this, you can feel a clear-cut difference of aesthetic and execution into the Star Wars world from Force Awakens to this movie. And then, so now we're going to go from Last Jedi with this to another different writer.
Well, I mean, that's what's also weird to me about it too, is like, if you're gonna do that, then hire a third different director.
Yeah,
as almost like almost like a kind of like an art piece, where let's personify Disney. Let's make them a person.
Yeah,
and Disney goes, I want all three of these movies to be different. I want them to feel different. I want them each to have a very distinct look, feel, and thumbprint, still have a connecting story, but I want each one to look really different. It would make more sense to me if you had a third completely different person.
Yes.
But to jump back, that's what's going to be weird.
Exactly. But, and also not only to jump back, but like you have completely different ideas and writers. So like you have Rian Johnson trying to continue the story that was left by J.J. Abrams in The Force Awakens. Like, no matter how many like meetings Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams could have, he's not going to completely get where J.J. Abrams like end goal was. Like he's going to have his own end goal in mind, or they might like agree on what the end goal is, but the way they get there are not going to be the same because Rian Johnson himself is just a different person with a different technique of writing and style of writing.
Yeah.
And then to all of a sudden have it be Colin Trevorrow going to be the writer for the third movie with Rian Johnson, because Rian Johnson's supposed to direct the third movie. Is that what it said? Did I read that correctly? Episode director. Oh yeah. So no, it was going to be Colin Trevorrow taking over for episode 9 after Last Jedi didn't do so hot, but they didn't like Colin Trevorrow's script because they again had a third person like writing a new script to complete this story that it's like literally, like I said, like in the first 6, I mean, George Lucas wrote and directed episode 1, 2, and 3. Pretty much that was all him. New Hope was all of him. It was all him because, that's one of his first movies. Then Lucas brings in Lawrence Kasdan and some other people to help with Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi with the screenplays, but he's still in control of the story and where the screenplay is going. And then he hired different directors, Irving Kershner for Empire, and I think I can't remember the director for Return off the top of my head right now. Another director for that, and which is what makes the originals trilogy so coherent, is because it is all Lucas, his mind, his vision, like writing style executed. Yeah, and then this prequel trilogy is just all him as well. And then this one is like J.J. Abrams wrote, then Rian Johnson wrote, and then Colin Trevorrow was supposed to write, but they didn't like Colin Trevorrow because it was a completely different idea of what they wanted. So they had J.J. Abrams come back on to correct what they didn't like about Rian Johnson. Yeah. And like, it's like, of course this sequel trilogy just didn't do so hot because of how Disney themselves operated the running of it. And Lucasfilms under the Disney umbrella.
Kind of weird side note, this is probably one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Yeah, no, actually I really liked it.
Like weirdly, The Last Jedi I think is
I go into actually just explaining that a good nugget in my review about that. So,
but it's like, well, I got excited for it once I realized, because Rian Johnson was one of those people that I'm a fan of but didn't know who they were. Yeah, until like research and stuff. And once I realized who Rian Johnson was, I was like, oh, cool. Like,
because Brick is like one of my favorite like indie movies. Yeah, like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's amazing in it. It's like it's a high school noir.
I still haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen Brick?
I've seen. It's one of those like I kind of have because I've just read about it so much and I've seen clips of it, but I've never actually from start to finish minute 1 to the last minute, like actually like.
I think you would really like it, and in a weird way, I think you can like see a person, like a side of who you were in high school in this character a little bit.
So I'd hate him.
Yeah. Maybe. No, maybe not. I don't know. You definitely need to watch Break.
Okay.
But yeah, I wanted to kind of like get that out there because as we're moving farther into this, like this is what happened to this sequel trilogy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's literally it was the production crew, the producers not trying to do something that they shouldn't have, I guess. I don't know. Like they were trying to feed fanfare over like actually creating good content.
Well, that's just like, it's funny that you say it like that too, because this one didn't do that.
Exactly. And that's why
it's better.
And that's why Rian Johnson isn't like he was immediately like, because the fans with the we'll get into that. Okay, so let's
jump to reviews now.
No, we haven't even talked about stars, the actors yet.
Oh man,
I know. Maybe we should have done the actors first. Sorry, I got a little excited about this because I guess like I was thinking about, because we were talking about Rian Johnson, and I feel like this is like a very important part of Rian Johnson's story with Star Wars.
Yeah, okay. Let's put that on hold because I feel like that can also lead into a lot of our other like stuff. So cast and crew, same as was last week. The OG, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher. Then our new heroes of Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley. I don't know why that was hard for me to read.
John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Andy Serkis. Lupita Nyong'o's only in it for a minute. Donald Gleason, Gwendolyn Christie. Oh yeah, it's okay. The new people. Let's talk about the new people now.
Okay, Kelly Marie Tran, Laura Dern, and Benicio del Toro are like the three main ones.
And I do want to give a call out to Billie Lourd, who
she made me laugh. Mainly because I went Billie Lourd, American Horror Story, probably
Carrie Fisher's daughter,
but she's such a famous person to me, but she really hasn't done a whole lot.
It's because you've seen her so much in American Horror Story.
Yeah, that's just really interesting, and I love her. I love her in American. Like, have you seen 84 yet?
Yeah,
she's phenomenal psychopath, and she's very attractive as a psycho.
Gee, you're attracted to a psychopath. Imagine that.
Like axe wielding, murdering psycho. So yeah, Billie Lourd.
And that's pretty.
And Laura Dern is
you'd recognize her from Jurassic Park.
Dr. Fuck, I don't remember their names. Any of them?
Oh, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Don't ask me. I don't remember names that well.
Oh god, I can't remember. Oh yeah, the blonde lady from Jurassic Park, Dr. Blonde, Dr. Blonde,
Dr. Blonde.
I can't remember. Oh, god,
she's a mom in October Sky.
Yeah, Mom in October Sky.
And she's all over. Like she's a well-known actress.
Yes.
Benicio del Toro, you'd recognize from Usual Suspects, Snatch. Guardians of the Galaxy.
As the collector.
Yeah, as the collector.
He's had a really...
I love Snatch. Freddy Four Fingers.
Yeah. What? Can you say that again? Give me that cocky motherfucker. What the fuck? I also do like Benicio del Toro's career as he's gotten older, because it's gotten so bizarre.
Because he is a bizarre
dude. Weird fucking dude. And I really like that. That's such like a clear indication from the roles he picks, because they're always like 15 minutes grand total on screen, and he's always like leaves a lasting. Like, he was one of my favorite new introduced characters. I want him to come back.
Oh, he's the
Code Master or whatever. I want him to be like a weird, like little reoccurring character that we just see kind of throughout the galaxy in weird situations.
That would be cool. I mean, that honestly, it would be cool to see like have them do the CG to make him younger in like The Mandalorian or something.
Right, Mandalorian is the rise of the First Order timelines. But yeah, there's because he had the stutter, but he was like really suave, and I just have a crush on Benicio del Toro. I just really like him a lot, and I just want to see him in more, because I didn't really like him as the collector. I didn't care.
I mean, he does the job well.
Yeah, but it's not like I didn't have a connection to that character like I do with this one.
Well, I mean, they don't really flush out the Collector, so
he's kind of like the evil Solo.
Yeah, well, also I love his entire scene, like showing like Finn, like, hey, dude, like war means that there's no good or bad side in war, like, in a weird sense, because like
business, basically.
It's all business. Look, this person, oh yeah, they're selling all of these things to the First Order. Click. Oh, but look at that. They're also selling X-Wings to your people.
Yeah, he's like, basically he's like, don't pick a side, you won't get hurt, kind of like mentality. And then Kelly Marie Tran is kind of up and coming. She
wasn't really, before this, she was only on like College Humor. And like at a bunch of like YouTube or like online like TV internet shorts or like TV roles,
like internet content.
Something so very small. Like she would be like the unknown for this movie. Like how Daisy Ridley was nobody for.
Oh yeah, she was the brand new, the new baby on set.
She is great. I really like Rose.
I do too. On just so you know too, she's in her most recent thing is Raya and the Last Dragon.
Oh yeah, she is Raya. Right?
Yeah, she's Raya, I believe.
Yeah,
I still haven't seen that. I refuse to pay.
Yeah. The $30
or whatever it is. I'll wait the month and then I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the new people, the main ones, right?
Yeah, those are the main news.
The main news.
So yeah. I guess actually, before we go into your reviews, I have one more thing that I brought up for notes, and it's about audience reception. This is what I got off Wikipedia.
Okay.
I don't know how much this might go and like take away,
us to the reviews.
No, it'll definitely take us to the reviews. Mm-hmm. But I hope I'm not saying anything that's in your reviews.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's get in there. Let's see what we got going.
Well, really quick, do you have a review from Emily van der Werf of Vox?
Negatory.
Okay. So.
No, I do not.
This is literally just like a quick spot from the audience reception from Wikipedia. Is reviewers characterize The Last Jedi as divisive among fans. Emily van der Werf of Vox found that dissatisfied fans saw the film as too progressive, disliked its humor, plot, or character arcs, or felt betrayed that it ignored fan theories.
You can't win with this fan base.
I know, dude.
Oh my God.
Other reviewers made similar observations. Particularly divisive was the reveal that Rey's parents were insignificant, which we'll get to talking about that. Many fans had expected her to be Luke's daughter or to share lineage with another character from the original trilogy. There was also sentiment that Snoke's character was underdeveloped and that Luke's actions contradicted his previous heroic betrayal. Reviewers stated that fan theories were held so strongly among some viewers that it was difficult for them to accept different stories. That's actually that I can see that. You know?
Does that mean like what I was saying, like us not knowing, like our canon is no longer there?
Not necessarily. No, not like that. But like people that online that had talked so much about what they believe the story should go, and the fact that the story didn't go in that direction. They're I can't. Like they can't.
Detached from that concept.
Yeah, I'll read the sentence again. Reviewers stated that fan theories were held so strongly among some viewers that it was difficult for them to accept different stories.
So basically, in their head, they got, it'd be really cool if this and this and this happened.
To where like it wasn't just like, oh, it'd be really cool. Like, oh no, this is what it is. And if they don't show that, I'm not going to accept it.
It's dead to me, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. But that other reviewers appreciated the film's action, tone, and deviation from Star Wars tradition.
Huh.
Yeah. So, like, I actually really liked this quick little blurb on Wiki, because I feel like that it really hits it on the nose, you know. Thinking of Yoda right now?
No, I'm thinking like just because of what I just said about like this fan base is just so hard to make happy. I just like a comic of like a rolled up newspaper and the fans. No, bad. Stop yelling at Jar Jar Binks. No.
It's don't call him Jar Jar Abrams.
Stop it. Bad. God, that is so interesting to me, because I mean I've definitely had that feeling of wanting something to happen. You know, like, oh, I really be cool if they made Superman do this, or The Witcher do that. That'd be really cool.
Well, and you know what exists? Fanfic online for you to fucking write it yourself.
Yeah, like I'm like, and yeah, I mean, it's a bummer if you're like really excited for that one moment. But I mean, I've never completely. Oh, take it back. Totally have Thor Ragnarok.
And there's also going to be what we talk about next week, probably with.
Yeah, I mean that one. Okay, but I mean, I didn't. Like, I don't hate Thor Ragnarok. Like, it's an enjoyable movie. I just wanted.
Can you say that again?
I just wanted fucking World Breaker Hulk. That's all I wanted. And that's all I want. I wanted to see him hold the planet together, and I didn't get it. But I didn't like. I'm not like the movie happened.
Yeah.
That's part of the universe now. You know what I mean?
And they can still bring something like that back if they want to with Hulk. Like, that could be like the end of Ruffalo's arc.
So yeah, that's the thing. There's like they didn't show it, but they didn't kill the possibility of it happening. Yeah. Which I'm like, cool, whatever. Anyways, we're not talking about that. Reviews? Yeah. Okay.
Go on into Tommy reading reviews.
So I did my usual. I read a few articles and then just kind of picked what I thought was kind of, you know, the sweet spot. So bear with me with names. Peter DeBruge, Vanity.com. Audiences could presumably skip this film and show up for the next episode without experiencing the slightest confusion of what happened in the interim.
Wow.
And I was like, and yes and no.
I mean,
there'd be some confusion, but I think what it's also interesting about this, and I think that's what, like, you could take this as negative, but I kind of see this as great because I enjoyed this movie so much. This is the epitome to me of a Star Wars tale. This is a Star Wars tale about a very specific situation happening with the rebels and the conflict, and there's this really great amount of tension of how are we going to get through this? How are the heroes going to make this work? And it is, because it's a different director and different writer, it's so removed, but I think that's part of the beauty of it. That's why it's good.
Maybe the originality of it?
Yeah. So like him being like, oh, you can just you could skip this, and like, it's like, yeah, in a theory you could, but you'd be missing out on one of the best Star Wars movies. Like, this is up there with Rogue One for me. Again, because Rogue One is a Star Wars tale that has real levity to it, of an actual... a crisis, not a overbearing evil Emperor Snoke, or what is he, Supreme Leader Snoke. It's like, no, we right now have a fleet of Star Destroyers behind us. We need to figure out what the fuck we're gonna do about it.
A really interesting thing that is you're saying that is the events of this entire movie take place within like 24 to 36 hours.
That's what I'm saying. It is a tale of Star Wars. And I'm like, no, that's kind of that's what now, especially because we're at the end of this Skywalker thing, those are the kind of movies you want, like Solo, like Rogue One. Like, those are, like, I mean, granted, Solo wasn't like phenomenal, but again, I haven't watched it since that one time. Maybe I'd watch that and be like, fuck, this movie's really cool, like, and fun. Because taking myself out of that toxic fandom of this isn't what I wanted, you know. I'm like, well, too bad, it's what you got. And then second was Connor O'Donnell from the Film Stage. Johnson's main feat is being savvy enough to know that sometimes the best thing to do is cherishing the past but not burning it to the ground.
Yes.
Which I liked that a lot.
There's not much, if any, fan service delivered in this film.
No. And like, that's what makes it, because it's
not about serving the fans one-liners or cheeky nods to other things that they like. It's about giving them new stories.
But even then, the few nods that we do have, like in moments with like Luke or Leia, it is just building their character more. It is giving them more depth.
Yeah.
And not being like, remember that time that we were in the trash compactor? That was crazy. You know what I mean? They don't do that. They actually, and that's what I thought was really cool too, because there's been so many years of Luke and Leia not being on screen together, but they have an interaction where you're like, you are actually giving the feeling that you are brother and sister in a very tumultuous family dynamic between your father and your child. Yeah. So, and I was just like, that's great. Like, and it does. And the fan service is giving us more depth to those characters, but people aren't seeing it that way because it wasn't some cheeky Easter egg.
Because it wasn't like bringing up the trash compactor.
Yeah. And it's like, why do you want that? If you want that, then go watch New Hope.
Yeah.
Which is really good. I forgot how great. I drank
You
like
actually watched all of it?
Yeah.
You didn't fall asleep?
no.
Oh.
I had like 2 glasses of wine. I got smashed.
Oh, damn.
Just was like you.
Did Val watch it all the way with you?
No, she went to bed, but she actually got into it.
Cool. All
Yeah.
right.
She was viscerally upset about the CG thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's the same thing. She's like, it just.
Oh, God, yeah, and we can't ever show her that.
No, my mom has the VHS. I would.
She didn't sell them?
No. I called her a while ago and was like, you need to
Oh.
keep those because of that whole thing, because the ones we have don't have the CG on
Yeah,
them.
no, I thought you told me that she had accidentally like gotten rid of
No,
them.
she still has them, and
Okay,
I
cool.
wanted to send them to me so I can rip them.
Yeah, do it. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
But yeah, I just like that she too was like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, dude, it breaks the illusion so hard. Well, yeah, so those are the 2 that I thought were.
Oh, I thought you had 3.
I got distracted. I was looking for it. I lost it. We
Okay.
can skip it.
That's all good. Okay, cool. I mean, it's interesting because a lot of like kind of what I'm bringing up.
Oh wait, actually here.
Oh, you got it?
Here's one that I thought was good. New York Post, Sarah Stewart. Sure, it's just a space western, but this Star Wars is one of the most popular modern mythologies. Johnson respects that. He's infused the storyline with new energy and artistry, and I can't wait to see it again.
See, and there we go. It's like, other than the first review, which is kind of like weird, like critics loved this movie.
There's a part of me that was thinking
George Lucas loved this movie.
There's a part of me like I was talking to my mom about it, and I was like, "Fucking, what if Disney just like paid him off, bribed him?"
I mean, that's
really,
a fucking possibility.
Which I thought I was like, you can totally, not even like straight up like here's $1,000, but like just like gift them things to kind of like soften them up. And I was like, that's totally a possibility. And then I watched the movie, and I was like, no, this movie's dope. Like, I don't know,
it's long.
It's very long, and I could see that kind of being a problem, but I loved it. Like, I was like, cool, all right, let's do this. Like, but yeah.
All right. So now that we've got those implemented and everything that I've all said before, now it's time for my review. Yay.
How long are we looking?
It's about as long as Force Awakens was. Again, I have like kind of like a review of the movie as itself and then as a Star Wars movie, which I think I'm just going to kind of keep doing with even for next week for Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
All right, so sequels are famously known to be hard to deliver. There's always a divide between wanting familiarity from its predecessor and its own originality. Therefore, The Last Jedi had a weight of a galaxy placed on it by being the sequel of the sequel trilogy. And while it struggles at moments with that weight, it does well to find its standing as a sequel, especially with its originality. The hardest part about this movie is understanding what it's about and why everything is happening the way it is. With an overarching theme of loss and moving forward, you begin to understand why it feels like nothing is actually getting achieved in the story. Every plot point is set up for the heroes to achieve victory, only to lose at the last second, until the very end where it culminates into the true passing of the torch from Jedi to Jedi. Another large theme within the movie that takes a minute to grasp is heroism, and how acts of heroism won't get you that far at the end of the day. From Poe sacrificing the majority of his officers to take down one ship, to Rose and Finn going out to save the day behind the backs of their superiors, only to not only fall short, but reveal the evacuation to the First Order. Generally, these actions are rewarded in movies like this, but not this one, because this movie is not about being the hero, but rather accepting loss and looking forward beyond the sunset. As a Star Wars movie, this is a very polarizing... As a Star Wars movie, this is very polarizing because it doesn't feel like Star Wars. But isn't Star Wars about being a hero, a clear loss or victory for the good guys? But is that Star Wars? Or is that the model we've been given for every generic action-adventure movie we've watched? With the story's innovativeness and originality, I would dare to say this is the most Star Wars movie recently made. Because that's how it all began. George Lucas wanting to do more, wanting to be original and challenge the way we experience movies. And that doesn't have to be only in the production side. Sometimes it's within the text. This movie left us wondering what the final chapter of the saga would be, with really no clear victor and a bunch of questions waiting to be answered. Much like how Empire ended.
Yeah. I like the whole like this is the most Star Wars movie made recently because it does. It's like it's funny. It falls into like the Empire thing, but not in the way that like excuse me. Not like with Force Awakens where it was like almost a blatant ripoff of A New Hope. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of reoccurring themes, but just executed in a way that just made it really entertaining and really fun.
Well, and I really like the whole, like when I bring about heroism, you know, it's like at the end of the day, everyone that's trying to be a hero they're failing. They're not becoming the hero.
Yeah.
You know, Poe got, was able to take down that dreadnought, but at what cost?
Yeah.
And Leia even points it out. It's like, what was the cost of that? How many, we just lost so many of our starfighters because you wanted to prove that you were fucking awesome.
Yeah, and the whole thing is like, those were heroes out there, and Leia being like, dead heroes. Like,
Heroes that can't lead anymore.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, you're right. They're heroes, but you got them killed. So basically because of your vanity and ego and just trying to prove, like you said, prove how badass you are. And it's like, that's all well and great, but not at the expense of other people's lives.
Yeah.
You know?
And then to like reverse that, one of the biggest acts of true heroism in the entire movie is Laura Dern's character, Vice Admiral Holdo, as she's keeping it secret on what she's doing about getting everybody into the transports to go to that planet, knowing that they're not going to see the small ships leaving because they're only focusing on the big ship.
Yeah.
And like the other ships previous, one person left behind to pilot that ship knowing they're going to die. And then Holdo turning the ship around to go into light speed.
That was so fucking cool.
It's so cool.
And then just like the dead silence. Oh my God, that was such a cool shot.
And it's like literally there's
a lot of cool shots in this movie.
Acts of heroism don't come out of the necessity of trying to actually like take someone down. They come out of the acts of protecting more than one.
Yeah, and like in knowing when and how much to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Because it's like she was able to, with her cost, she's able to save all of them. With his initial plan, it's like, yeah, great, you destroyed a ship.
You destroyed a dreadnought. Cool. Yeah, they're hard to kill. But you know what?
You just lost half of our pilots by doing that, and all of our bombers. And so, So yeah, that's an interesting take on that. And
then also, like with Finn and Rose, their whole arc, it's like there's a part of me that's like, there's parts, especially them, like what was the point of their entire story of going to the casino on that planet, for all of that to happen just for them at the end to fail like that? And that goes into the same thing of like, they're trying to be the heroes, but
yeah. And like going back to the casino thing too, like, well, I've heard a lot of people like really, really rag on that whole thing as being completely pointless and like unnecessary and all that. And I'm like, well, I mean, they wanted to have this hero arc of them trying to like sneak onto the ship and everything like that, so they need to find a code breaker. What do you want them to do? Walk into a cantina, tap them on the shoulder, and be like, "Hey, you, us, let's do this." It's like, no, the scene was there to introduce a character, but make it interesting and fun.
Yeah, but then it's like at the end of the day, it's like you go through this entire journey with them just to see them fail.
Yeah, but that's also like, I think
that's kind of the story that Rian Johnson's wanting to tell,
and I think that's great because then it's not the bad guy. The good guys don't always succeed.
Exactly, like I was talking about.
Yeah,
but it takes you a while. It takes you a while to really recognize that in this film. Like through the first half of me watching it, I was like, I don't really get what's happening and why everything is going the way it's going.
Yeah,
like I don't understand. Like I'm not feeling any like catharsis or anything through like actions and whatnot. It's just like, I'm like, okay. It isn't until like 3/4 of the way through the film where I'm like, oh, I see where this is going now. And that's a very interesting thing to feel for a film, especially like what we've been used to and like so many like, pop culture films, like they're just like feeding you, happiness or something, or not, maybe not necessarily happiness, but like little bits of like, oh, victory, little wins, but like there's still a conflict that's like bigger than everything, you know? And this just, there really is no victory on either side. Even the First Order like loses Snoke and their like giant ship. Kylo like is fucking everywhere in this movie. And like, yeah, no, it's like literally nobody wins at the end of this movie. But that's kind of like, that's how it like finishes its arc for this movie. But it leaves, like I said, it leads us into like, okay, what's next?
Yeah, it leads us into the final act.
Yeah, because,
in a really good way.
And like I was like compare that to Empire, because Empire ends on that cliffhanger. Like, okay, well, we got to go save Solo. We just lost to the Empire. The Empire is now whatever. We need to regroup, and we will then attack. You know.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of goes into that review by Peter de Bruges about like, yeah, you can skip this because nothing really happens, like you said, because at this point both sides are on the same level ground that they were at the beginning of it.
Yeah,
but it's still like, but that's a weird way. That's a weird way to think about film. Of like, it doesn't. That's like saying, okay, you can skip the Two Towers because Sauron's still alive and Saruman's still alive, and it's like, well, no, it's
the events that take place in this are important for the continuation of the story,
for a lore.
Yeah,
just to have any kind of depth or anything to it, like. To take this out, like, in all honesty, like, and it's kind of fitting, it's in the middle. This is kind of the heart of this new trilogy. Yeah, this movie is the heart. This is when you have some of the most intimate moments, like when Laura Dern and Vice Admiral Holdo and Leia are saying goodbye. I choked up because I also had forgotten that she had passed away, and hearing her basically say, "May the Force be with you" for the last time, I was like. Yeah. Oh my God! Like, like I'm tearing up thinking about it. But it's just like that. There's just these beautiful little moments, and they're really quick, and they're not really like shoved in your face.
They're not forced at.
Yeah, they're just these natural, really sweet, really like heartfelt moments, and it's like, yeah, to skip it, it's like, no, don't skip it, because then you're just gonna have two mediocre movies in the beginning and maybe the end. I can't remember anything about the last one, like, whatsoever.
There's only bits and moments that I've really remembered, but that isn't out yet. We're in 2017.
Oh, right. Wonder what's going to happen in the third one.
Yeah. Well, let's actually go through character arcs and whatnot. Let's save Luke and Daisy, or Luke and Rey, for kind of last.
I will just bring, like, we don't have to like finish the arc, but I just want to bring up that Mark Hamill, I was reading, had a problem.
He didn't like how Luke was portrayed in this movie.
And he was like, apparently he like talked to Rian Johnson about it, and was basically like, okay, I got it off my chest. I don't like how you wrote him, but I'll do the job. Whatever, like, okay. And I'm like, considering he didn't like him, I think he did great.
No, he did.
As an old grumpy Luke. It was really funny, like that whole slapping her hand with the stick.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel it?
Yeah,
That's the Force. That's it right there. Yeah. Just this dry, like, I'm over you young kids bullshit, like, kind of attitude. I thought was really funny. And also it was kind of fun to just a fun thing. He was 63 in this.
Was he?
And
I didn't know he was that old.
Ben? Yeah.
Wait, Obi-Wan?
Yeah. Well, like Ben Kenobi.
Alec Guinness?
Yeah, thank you. And Alec Guinness was 61.
Oh, okay.
I just think that's kind of a cute, like, all right,
yeah.
Him taking up the mantle as the mentor wizard, helping the new kid thing.
Yeah.
Well, are you laughing because I said wizard again?
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we kind of brought up a little bit already, like Poe's arc. Poe, his whole thing is realizing he doesn't have to put himself in the fray of things to be the hero.
Yeah, and Leia's kind of grooming him for the position. She sees a potential in him.
She sees a young Han in him.
I do like that moment when they're like, he gets like knocked out, and they're both like, "Oh, he's a troublemaker. I like him."
Yep.
Me too. And I'm like, yeah, you would, Leia. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you like him.
And then like Finn Finn kind of has like a similar one as well. Well, I mean, because he's trying to run away. He's still trying to run away at the beginning, and Rose catches him.
He's not trying to run. He's trying to protect. He's
trying to protect Rey as best as he can.
Yeah, no, but that's the kind of thing. His arc and Poe's arc are very similar because again, it's like, yeah, I get you want to protect your friend, but you're putting everyone else at risk, and you're being, in a sense, that's being selfish. Because granted, you want to save your one friend, but by doing this, you are putting all of these people in harm's way. And so they have a very kind of similar where the over the top be the hero, where it's like, no, y'all need to
and then
drop it down a notch.
His biggest when he I feel like his biggest arc is finally when they're on the what planet was that? The salt planet?
Oh, I don't remember. Salt Hoth.
Yeah, there we go. And like the giant cannon is there, and he's finally actually facing the First Order. Oh, also his fight with Captain Phasma was awesome.
That was I had forgotten about that, and I was like, I like that we actually have like.
It's like watching himself fail so hard, and then hearing the resistance going to lose. Is like he realizes like I do want to fight, and this is what I want to fight for. There is no middle ground like what the Codemaster told me. You know, like, it's like you can live in that middle ground and be a fucking little weasel like that guy and just take credits, whoever pays you the best credits, or I can stand up and, fight for the people that I believe in.
Did he get out of that Star Destroyer or whatever it was?
I have no fucking idea because he's never talked about it again.
He just kind of vanished. Like, he walked back to the ship. Like, I'm assuming he's still alive?
I'm assuming he got out too, yeah. But there's no way to know because he's not in the Rise of Skywalker, so.
Yeah. No, we don't know that. He might be.
In the Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right. It's 2017. My bad.
It's a fun game.
But yeah, so Finn finally steps up, and then again going over the top as he's then ready to fucking sacrifice himself for the First Order. But again, that's also not what this is about.
For the Resistance.
Oh, yeah, for the First Order. I said it again. For the Resistance. But that's, again, not what this story is about. It's not about you sacrificing yourself for what is to be the hero. It's about being heroes, like, standing together.
Yeah.
Well, and then Rose saving him in that last second.
And that kind of, goes into, the original trilogy as well. It's like we, in a sense, are the ragtag resistance group. We don't have the sheer number and force of the First Order / Empire, so the way that we succeed is by banding together and making an unbreakable chain, basically. And they really leaned into that, but in a really good way. Writing wise, Rian Johnson did a really good job, especially
well, and Rose's character is really just kind of is that great symbolism of a group, like unity, like the resistance together,
She's for this new group of heroes, she's the Leia. She's the one that's gonna I feel like
the bond that holds them together.
The bond that holds them together and keeps them on an even keel, you know. And and I really liked her too. This movie just didn't really stand out to me when I first saw it. I didn't even remember.
Well, what's interesting
as a character,
I remember her character and thinking about her. And then the rest of the characters, we have from the original trilogy, you have royalty, you have a smuggler, and you have
royalty?
Leia.
Oh, you're talking about the original crew.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant in this.
No, you have royalty, you have the smuggler,
and the farm boy.
And the farm boy is going to be Space Blizzard, But in a weird way, it's by the end of the movie, they're all recognized as higher ups in the rebel resistance, like generals or what have you. In these, Poe is up there and he's finding his place as commander and captain, or commander demoted to captain. Probably, I think he's going to get promoted to general probably. But then you have the people that come from nowhere, really, Rose and Finn. Finn, a great connection, why Finn and Rose can connect so well is that Finn was taken as a child and
they've both seen the horrors of the First Order firsthand, very much have, as opposed to someone like Rey, she knows of the First Order as a threat, but has never, until now, been intimately involved with them as a antagonist.
Yeah.
But they have a very mutual bond of like, oh no, we hate these people because of how they have hurt us.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
a good point.
for them to be overcoming that in this story, like, is really like a really good arc for them as well.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't hate Adam Driver as much.
I was actually I made a note. So, did Tommy figure out what he's not liking about Kylo?
Yeah, his writing was bad in the first movie.
Is that just what you feel it was?
I think so, because it's like, I don't know. I mean, something I just think is kind of weird in just Star Wars land too is the whole fact of like, he's Supreme Emperor Snoke's apprentice in the dark side, yada yada yada, but that's like all well and good, but why are you giving him military power? He's not a general. He's not been trained for warfare. Like, I just think it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, you get the red sword and you get a platoon of soldiers to do kind of whatever the fuck you want with.
I don't think it's necessarily that. I mean, as you're being trained,
at least Vader was a general.
Yeah,
before.
Well, I mean, I feel like as you're being trained in the ways of the Force, you're being trained in ways of like battle tactics.
No,
as well,
no, totally.
You know?
But it's just like, at least, like I'm saying, like Vader was involved in a war before. He has seen war combat.
But I mean, that's also why General
me.
Hux has his entire fucking.
I liked their development. It seemed like
I feel like it was a step back for General Hux at the beginning of this one. He was like the butt of the joke.
No, totally. But I mean, like
Poe. Yeah, can I get a
General Hugs?
Can I talk to General Hugs?
This is General Hux.
Holding for General Hugs still.
Can
you hear me?
No, what I mean, but like specifically with Adam Driver and what's his name?
Domhnall Gleeson.
Yeah, Domhnall Gleeson, is they had this kind of fun, and I don't know if it was meant to be that. I mean, maybe, I'll never know unless I would have talked to Rian Johnson. But they had this kind of brotherly bickering for dad's attention.
Yeah.
Thing that I really enjoyed, like when he's like walking out, like he's walking out from Snoke, and Kylo's walking in. He has this kind of like kind of like smirk to him.
I made Dad happy.
And Dad gave me a gold star.
And Dad's gonna be mad at you.
Yeah, and I was like, I really like that. And I mean, I don't know. We're not gonna get it again, but I just thought that was really cool.
Well, I mean, but it started to. I feel like this movie established a better relationship of who Snoke was with these people.
I mean, in all honesty, Snoke is probably the most ridiculous thing in this entire movie because it just doesn't make any sense, mainly because they don't talk about, he never brings up Palpatine. He's this big Sith Lord, whatever, and we don't know what he is or where he came from. Fine, whatever, but there's the fact that there's just like this no actual either shots, like a visual, or just said out flat, some kind of connection between them two, I just think is so bizarre because he's supposed to be this big bad Sith Lord that we just never heard of during the rise of the Sith.
Yeah.
I just think it's so weird. It's just like this, we just want to bring it up.
And also, like, why is he deformed?
Yeah, there's just no...
And I feel like that's also, I mean, I think Rian Johnson also was like, I give Rian Johnson credit for developing more of a Snoke character, like into a character.
His dialogue was cooler.
Yeah, and then but also Rian Johnson, knowing like this character needs to fucking die because there's no point for them.
Yeah, and I just think.
But he also took a character that really had no point for existing, and gave their meaning to it and meaning to his death as well.
Totally. For being such an unnecessary character, that moment made him very necessary in a lot of ways. But it's just like, I don't know. It's like now we have the Mandalorian that's going to explain it.
Yeah.
To fix it, like to make it make sense. And I'm like, that's a problem. If you need to do an entire other show to explain a plot point, you fucked up.
Even like thinking back on The Force Awakens, there was definitely like, as the more I've like thought, it's like, man, there was actually a lot of little moments in that never really were explained that we just kind of like went, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, we did that. Okay, like take this. All right, fine, I'll take it.
Yeah, and like I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but there's definitely, it's like, oh yeah, that wasn't really explained that well. Huh. Anywho, but then okay, with Snoke and Kylo, like I felt like Kylo's arc in this was it solidified what I think they wanted it to be in The Force Awakens. But maybe he just needed this little extra arc as well for this, because there was one very important choice that he did when he felt his mother.
Oh, and he didn't pull the trigger.
And he didn't pull the trigger.
I remember that scene getting a lot of flack, but I thought that was cool.
It's very interesting because it shows that, there is still a pull to the light side, you know.
Well, I meant the whole her making like a forced cocoon in space thing.
Oh, yeah, that actually, I didn't like that at all.
Really? I thought that was cool.
No, I mean,
I like it because I like the idea of
also,
Leia's...
I don't know fucking any like Force user that has that power. Like, I've never heard of that Force power before.
I mean, it's kind of like Bastila from Knights of the Old Republic, you know, like battle meditation.
Yeah.
She can make you happy and sad and make you lose wars.
But that makes sense for a video game because it's making a bard.
But like what I like about the idea of like that specifically is that I really like that Leia has this kind of passive connection with the Force.
Yeah.
She's not Qui-Gon Jinn throwing droids left and right.
Yeah.
It's very much an instinctual.
Yeah, yeah.
It just...
Well, she's probably been trained a little bit by Luke on how to like use...
Oh, no, totally.
You
but
know.
I like that it's not, you know, slicing a pear, you know, that kind of thing. She doesn't use it willy-nilly. She uses it to connect to people.
To connect, because she is like, she uses her Force sensitivity
very practically, and almost like a secondhand nature, and I think that's just a really cool thing. And I know it's like cheesy with the icicles. Like, I get why people didn't like it, but I think
looks cool.
I think it's just a cool concept to have a Force user. She's basically like a gray Jedi.
Yeah,
she just is she's super in tune with it. But
that's also very much what Luke's trying to create out of this. But anywho, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, I think the whole passive thing is really cool.
So yeah, Kylo. Like, I really liked at the very beginning. Like when Kylo is talking to Snoke, and Snoke immediately is like, "Take that fucking stupid,
ridiculous
mask
thing off."
Yeah.
That was cool too. Like, because it's like,
thank you,
and that bugs me too. Like, I hate like the fact that every single Sith dark side character that's ever had one of those had a reason for it. They needed it. Malik didn't have a bottom jaw, so he had like a voice box thing.
Yep.
Vader couldn't breathe air.
Yep.
So he had a scuba suit on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Grievous was a robot, you know? Like, it makes sense, but this whole, I want to be like Darth Vader, jumping back onto that wagon real quick, sorry, super tangent. The biggest writing flaw with this is the obsession and glorifying of Darth Vader. The writing should be, you do not want to be like Darth Vader, the biggest traitor in Sith history. It really bugs me.
I think it's more of like, it's the power that Vader had. Like, you want to be as powerful as Vader,
but not as weak.
Yes.
Well, I guess, I mean, I could think maybe we talked about this last time. Maybe it's that whole thing of like, as soon as Vader decided to kill the Emperor, he became Anakin again. Up until that moment, like, Lord Vader and Anakin are two different entities. So you want to be like Vader, you don't want to be like Anakin.
In his last dying moments, when he kills the Emperor, because that's technically the passing of the torch of the Emperor Sith.
Yeah,
Vader kills the Emperor. If he doesn't revert back to Anakin, just for like, he could have, like, he just reverted back to Anakin for one, I think, for like Luke. If he stays alive, if he doesn't actually die, he becomes the most powerful Sith.
Emperor Vader.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
he was Emperor Vader for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
but you get what I'm saying about the whole,
I see what you're saying. You're saying.
I think that's just kind of a loosey-goosey.
But it's not really, I mean, it's
thing.
not so much in this one though. Like the whole Vader thing.
No, but that whole conversation you're talking about was Snoke.
Yeah, when he's like, take that fucking ridiculous thing off.
He brings up Vader. There's a lot of chit chat about Vader.
Just at that moment. But also, that's what I'm leading to. That's the beginning of the arc, the change in Kylo. Is he had this mask that for him that's supposed to be a connection to what, like, his uncle, his grandfather,
his heritage,
and all these Siths that needed these like enhancements and whatnot. He doesn't need that. I mean, he now has this scar he is now like physically changed forever, but nowhere near as them. And then when he destroys his helmet, that's him destroying a piece of himself that he's held onto, an attachment.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. It's like, yeah, like, are you saying like basically like the way it's like making sense in my head is like by destroying that helmet, he finally no longer was trying to live up to the boogeyman Darth Vader. He is now Kylo Ren.
This is who I am going to be. And then from that point forward, this movie, he starts, the way that he talks,
starts spinning out.
like he starts like speaking in more absolution, like especially with Rey. Like he kind of did a little bit.
He talked to Rey like a psycho boyfriend.
Exactly, dude.
He said when he says, "You are nothing," I was like,
"You are nothing."
Rude.
No, and he says it so fast. He's like, "You are nothing."
Yeah, so, like you said, an absolution.
Yeah.
But I just started pissing myself. I was like, this guy sounds like a really toxic, really bad psycho boyfriend.
So he's becoming the true Sith that he is destined to become.
That's an interesting, especially with the destruction of the helmet. That's an interesting.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of like a reversal of like when Luke beat Vader and cut off his hand and then looked at his robotic hand.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, I'm going down a very, very similar path in this moment right now. It's that moment of, am I going to stay on this route or do I need to make it this? Yeah. So that's an interesting, like, kind of idea. Huh.
And then so the entire time, and obviously like with Kylo and Rey and their weird Force connection,
that was cool.
That apparently, I guess I missed this the last times I've watched it. That Snoke admitting like, I fucking connected you two
as bait,
basically. And I put those images in your heads when you touched. I was creating that.
The future thing.
Yeah, and then also with that, Kylo's also like Rey is still thinking like, oh, Ben is still in here. I can save Ben still, because like there is a little bit of, like. Do
you think his name is Benjamin, or do you think it's actually just Ben?
I don't know. It might just be Ben.
Benjamin Solo.
Like she knows there's still that pull to the light side for him.
Yeah, and
then but in his mind, like he knows that's there, and he's like, oh no, it's just going to be a thing that I'm going to be constantly battling with. But he understand like when he's sitting there and Snoke is like, yes, rise, turn your saber and strike her down type thing. Strike the enemy that you know you need to kill. Kylo, he isn't thinking like, oh yeah, I need to kill Rey to prove to my supreme fucking leader that I'm so strong. He's like, no, I need to kill you to become the supreme Sith.
Well, yeah, and then it's also like cool too because he's like Snoke it's just like kind of showing his power with the Force in a really cool way too, because of the whole Snoke is seeing this whole thing transpire in his head, but then Kylo is able to control it in such a way that he doesn't realize he's the target.
Yeah, he's controlling how the narrative is being seen
in his head. Yeah,
because the narrative that Kylo is saying is like, yes, destroy the one thing that I need to destroy, and Snoke's like, yeah, she is the one thing you need to destroy, and Kylo's like, no, you are.
Yeah, very Return of the Jedi kind of moment.
And then the heartbreak for Rey. Also, I guess before you get into that, when Kylo tells her like, your parents were nobody. They were just Jakku drunks that traded you off for money and are probably dead somewhere in the middle of a desert. He saw that through Snoke's vision.
Yeah.
So that's an insignificant plot point. Like, I mean, it's definitely like weight on Rey at that moment to make her emotional. That's what he's trying to do, is make her emotional, make her angry, because he's trying to bring her to the dark side. At this point, in his mind, you're going to be my Sith apprentice now. Join me. Again, the Empire talk.
Will rule the galaxy as father and son. I mean, I don't think that's the thing too. Is I didn't take that as an apprentice thing. I took that as an equal thing. I took that as a Raven and Bastila moment.
Kind of, yes. But I mean, he's still gonna have to train her in the ways of the dark side and everything.
Yeah, no, totally. But I don't think it would be this.
There is definitely like there is a weird like. I never fully got it until this watch through. There is a strain. Like I feel like when they touched. And like in the Force stuff, I'm like, oh, so this is what the Force sex looks like. They're having Force sex right now. It was very sexual.
I did like that when they were seeing each other, there wasn't like some CG created
world
astral plane.
Yeah.
It was literally just cut from where they were standing, and then them. I don't know. I thought that was an interesting way to do it.
The way that they kind of like explained it, so where it's like he's like, can you see my surroundings? I can't see yours. I can only see you.
Yeah.
And
Like, it's literally just this. She's just like, I'm seeing you right now. She's just there.
Yeah.
Suddenly. I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And I liked, too, that they didn't show anything because it left very much the imagination what exactly they were experiencing.
Yeah, exactly.
And that kind of made it more
and then clearly
personal.
Like, and then it's clearly something happening with the Force, because when Luke comes in to that moment and freaks out, you know, because he sees Kylo, he sees Ben there, and he's like he realizes immediately, like, oh, she's already she's already lost to what it is.
Well, and it's cool too. Like, the first time it happens, that she doesn't see everyone else disappears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When she shoots the blaster and she runs out and the island is completely empty. Once that connection breaks, then all the little villager people, what I call them, frog nuns.
Oh, yeah.
Little frog nuns, have been standing there the whole time, and to them, she's just been like,
yeah,
like in this weird trance kind of thing. Yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting take.
That whole final moment that Kylo has, like that, and that's kind of like, God, it's so weird how much more of the movie there is after this too. Like, that happens. That's like 3/4 of the way through the film, or like a 2/3. Like, there's still like another 40
it's
minutes.
A long movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why this episode is probably gonna be a little bit longer. Heads up, guys.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We got a lot more to talk about, and we are already over an hour. So, brain. Where was I? Oh yeah. So when finally, and then they're fighting over the saber, obviously. Then when it snaps,
those kind of scenes always make me so uncomfortable.
Why so?
Mind telekinesis fighting things where they're just staring at each other going. I always think it's so goofy. I've never seen it done and been like, that looks really cool. You both don't look like you're taking a massive dump.
And in X-Men when Magneto's controlling.
Yeah. I think it's also because I know that it's Michael Fassbender's just standing there going with a green screen behind him, you know?
Yeah.
I find it so uncomfortable every time.
So you want to talk about Rey or Luke next? Let's talk about Rey and Luke together and see where he goes from there.
Okay.
Because the beginning of the movie starts off with that, Rey trying to give, the lightsaber, and then Luke's like, whap, whap,
they still haven't explained where the fucking lightsaber came from.
Oh, that's right. They haven't.
How did it break?
In their Force.
It did.
Fight. Yeah.
It must have been. I was working. I think.
Oh yeah.
It was. So I just saw it split, and I was like, I missed that.
Yeah. No. So when they're doing the Force fight, it's it's equal tension from each other. It was actually really cool. As it's about to break, you see in the middle of it start to glow. You can,
or where the crystal is,
the crystal's starting to crack or something inside.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was one of those. By the time I saw the lightsaber broken at the end of the movie, and I was like, I can't go back and find that moment.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I think a really big thing, like we were talking about, the MacGuffin for The Force Awakens. As soon as Luke is in the story, he's kind of the main character in a way. I feel like they did a really good way of not making that a thing.
I was gonna say that, from what you said last week, that completely disproves that. It's no, I mean, they did a really good.
But it's because of how it was set up because of the last one. So that since he's now introduced at the beginning, and then the way that his character is then presented as nope, just not going to do it. Now there's an entire movie for him to go through that arc to do what he has, not half of a movie or a quarter of a movie.
True, I see what you're saying.
So it makes it fits better for him to have this whole movie to do this.
Mark Hamill, you look really good, scruffy.
Yeah, he does.
With the long hair and the salt and pepper beard. I'm like, go on, dude. You look good. Can't believe he's 63.
I really liked.
Well, no, that was. So he's God, he's older than that now.
He's 66 now.
Yeah. Huh.
I mean, so I feel how people say that this isn't Luke. This isn't the Luke that it's no, dude,
a lot of shit went down. He changed.
Yeah. The dude started a new Jedi temple.
Well, first and foremost, he killed his father.
All right,
guys, that will change you.
What was the stuff that I wrote down here? Luke guilty with hubris. He let his power, quote unquote, get the best of him. The weight of it all brought him to this island. He's this guy who he's yeah, I killed the Emperor I killed my father, and I helped kill the Emperor. I am now this hero, Luke Skywalker. We don't see the weight of that on somebody post the Return of a Jedi. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you know, it's like now all of a sudden there's this expectation like, oh, you're the savior of the galaxy. What are you going to do next? How are you gonna keep us safe? How are you gonna keep saving us from everything?
And then also even just the fact of like starting a new Jedi temple. It's like he wasn't trained by the Jedi temple. He was trained by one senile lizard in a swamp for
and a little
month.
bit by an old man that.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, he definitely talks to them.
Yeah,
obviously, but it's still like
it sounds like someone like talking like voices in their head. He talks to them, obviously.
Oh, that's it. That is, I really kind of jumping into his arc too. I did like Yoda showing up, but it was not prequel Yoda. It was ketamine frog. Like, it was like, God, I forgot how much of a fucking Muppet he was with Frank Oz. Like he was a straight up Kermit the Frog on crack. like waka waka waka. Like, I forgot like just how zany he got like very quickly in his old age from being very sound of mind.
Which then also like, you know, looking at Luke, who's been living in isolation for who fucking knows how long, drinking the weird like that milking scene,
the green milk
off that weird creature, still one of the most uncomfortable what the fuck moments I've seen in any fucking. I'm like, why are we watching this?
For that reaction, I guarantee it.
Yeah, just
they wanted that reaction.
I love how like the creature like looks over at Rey like, yeah, I like this, and Rey's like, oh.
It was definitely. I think it was for a reaction shot. But yeah, I mean, so the other go.
So yeah, a lot has happened to Luke. Which is
and
like,
you were talking about like people being like, "This isn't Luke. He's different now."
It's like yeah, he became a hero. Hey, talking about heroism in this theme again, you know, like through his actions of becoming a hero, people had this expectation of what his heroism was going to then become.
Yeah.
So then, he starts this Jedi temple, and then you know decides like, well, now there's another Skywalker. I should be training them, you know, with Ben.
Yeah.
And then of course, like, not real, like, he makes the mistake of looking into Ben's future as opposed to just like, as Yoda says, Yoda says to him, like, you're always looking off into the horizon, not in front of what's in front of your nose at the moment.
You know, and then also just stupid to like stand over him, turn on your lightsaber, and then contemplate if you're gonna kill him or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe think all that through before you get to that step with the loud glowing sword. In the dark green sword.
Of course your fucking nephew's gonna turn around and think you're trying to murder him.
Yeah, like his reaction, I mean, maybe not burning down the temple and killing the other students, but his reaction of caving in the building on you, that's I think anyone would have that reaction with their uncle standing, like, just drunk uncle, this little bastard. Like,
no, Morty, we gotta go to space, Morty.
Yeah, we gotta kill a guy that has asthma.
But so of course, like, like we are being presented with a Luke that has cut himself off from the Force and is.
That's the thing. His plot, his logic is very sound.
Yeah,
because that is what the Force is. Mm-hmm. If there is light, there has to be dark. If there's too much dark, the light will rise up. That is the complete basis on both of the religions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense. And also, this isn't the first time that Star Wars, the bad guy in the real bad guy in Knights of the Old Republic, that was her point. That was her whole plot, was to completely rid of the Force because all it does is breed conflict.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's like
his point,
and
it
Luke
makes
is
sense.
Like, no, the Jedi must end with me. But that also, he like goes into like, I will train you into understanding the Force type to Rey more than anything,
and also the hypocrisy that lies within it.
Exactly.
And I did like also that Kylo and Luke kind of had a same mindset of getting rid of the old.
Yes, exactly.
And that was cool. I mean, Kylo still wanted to keep using the Force, obviously, and everything like that. But he was like, no more of the Sith, no more of the Jedi. Let's actually start a new order.
Yeah, it's like, no, screw, like, fuck the Jedi, fuck the Sith,
fuck the rebels, fuck all
it's
that.
Like you and I, we will start a new galaxy together.
Yeah, and it's like the bare principle of both of their ideologies are similar, but obviously with different execution. And it's like,
different end game.
Yeah, there you go, end game. But it's like, no, like Luke's whole theology, it makes sense. It's like, look what it's done. Look what it's done to his family personally.
Yeah.
Of course he's fucking over it. He's done. He's over it. Like, let's move on. Like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. And it's like, like, it made your father commit genocide. It nearly killed you a few times. It then killed your father. And then made you want to kill your nephew, it's like, and then your nephew then killed his father. Like, it's this horrible cycle that keeps going on and recycling itself.
And then, of course, like it culminates, like him coming out onto that planet, well, him force projecting himself. But that wasn't I think that was literally just for his own closure, like he realized he had been running away,
and I think it was also
he'd been doing what Finn was wanting to do. He'd been running away, hiding instead of actually
facing the threat,
facing what's been happening, and coming to terms with what his actions had done to his sister, to his nephew.
I think that's the main thing. A lot of it is to like finally have a moment with Kylo, but really to apologize to Leia. And have a closure with her. Yeah, which I was so happy about. Oh my god,
that scene with them.
What are those little dice thing?
Oh, those are Solo's dice. Those are his like what you hang on your or your rear view mirror.
I'm glad they have those in this galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
Okay,
but he gets those in Solo.
Yeah, I recognize them, but I couldn't remember their point.
Yeah, I mean they're Solo's dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when him and Leia are sitting there talking, and how she says, I've known my son's been gone. I know I will never get him back or something. And then Luke is like, nobody's never always gone.
Yeah.
It's like, it's super.
Well, we brought it up in the beginning. Like that was exactly that. It was a moment. Just a well-written moment, but it was all that was for the fans. That was for us to finally have like a real intimate moment between.
Honestly, I mean, it's for the fans, for us, but honestly, that's for the characters. The characters deserve that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. There's none of these blatantly obvious Easter eggs. They're actually, that's like, no, on a story lore, this has given it just with these brief 30-second interaction, just added an incredible amount of depth to them. And it was also just it was really like warming to see them together.
And it's also like that goes back into like when I was talking about the theme of loss, like because the loss that they have experienced together, they've lost each other, they've lost their loved ones, their nephew, so much together.
Well, and I think also it's really important for like this episodes 4 through 9, 4 through yeah.
Well, 8 for this one.
Well, 4 through 8. It's like when we find out that Leia is their brother and sister, there is no development from that, because then the movie ends, and then Han has that awkward moment of like, well, if you and Luke, and she laughs and it's like, he's my brother, and that's the end of the movie. So you never really get to see this bond between them, because they were separated at birth and yada yada. So finally have them have this family moment together was really nice.
Oh yeah,
because it was just it's so brushed over in the original ones. You're like, oh, there's another. Ooh, who's the other? Oh, twin sister.
I mean, it's kind of like. You get a little bit of it in Return, because when he tells her that, you get like in halfway through Return, you kind of. They figure, like, he tells her that you're actually my twin sister, So you get a little bit of it in Return.
But it's just not as heartfelt,
I
don't think, in my opinion.
My personal opinion.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that whole astro projecting thing.
Oh, really?
And I got so annoyed. I'm like, how did he get here? And also, why the fuck did he go get a haircut in the middle of all this? I was so angry. I was like, I swear to God, if any of this is like legit, that's like, okay, when he shows up, we need to make him kind of look like he did in the day to bring back the hero thing. I was like, no fucking way. did he stop in this serious moment. I'm looking really shaggy. I gotta do something about
Pulls
this.
out his lightsaber.
Yeah, like I was viscerally upset for a minute. I was like, but yeah, the whole, and that was, and I kind of wanted to point out with Rian Johnson, just his shots are really cool because that whole, he's not moving the salt on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
subtle.
Yeah, they don't
Subtle.
shove it in your face, and there's a bunch of moments like this.
No, and he sets that up. Like the first time somebody walks on the salt,
Yeah.
you see the red, and then someone's like, salt. So then it's setting up like, when you see the movement, you're gonna see the salt, but then that quick little like close up of Luke's foot, and you don't see the salt move.
And what it looks like from it's like what you're trying, like as a director, what you're showing is the footwork. That's what for this fight scene.
Exactly.
That's what you're trying to do, and it's just this subtle little.
It's footwork, but it's something
There's
more.
something more in there, and I thought that was really, really cool. I was like, all right, and there's a bunch of moments like that.
of that in this movie.
Yeah, like he did a lot of really cool, like just like if you look away for a split second, you would have completely. I had to rewind a couple, being like, did that just? Oh,
And there's a lot of them with Luke specifically.
Yeah, like it's really cool.
Finally, Luke, and also this is like you see the true like absolution of where Kylo has now at during this final moments.
This
as
is
well
because he is at this point. He's like he's spiraling out.
Well, and also he's now like he is forcing himself into becoming supreme leader of some sort. Like he's like General Hux is like who's making you the leader, and Kylo's like
I am.
My fucking force powers, motherfucker.
I'll turn you into a fucking human cube, I swear to God.
Yeah, I like how like it's like as Kylo's like giving out orders for everything, then General Hux is just like repeating it, and Kylo just kind of annoyed keeps looking over at him, and then finally Kylo's like, take me down there to him, take me down to him now, and Hux like, will not sacrifice more of our, but he just like force bitch slaps Hux across it. Well, and the guy's just like, and going for landing.
He says, "I copy that, sir," or something like that. Yeah. That's interesting, actually, that you just said that too, because I like actually the theme of this movie is sacrifice and know when to do it. Because even General Hux is like, we have a mission. Why are you letting your personal vendettas deter us from our mission? From commanding my army to do stupid shit like shoot at one guy with all of our lasers.
Everything we have at that shot at that man right now. More.
But that's like
more.
That's the spiraling, you know. I
just remembered that meme as I was watching it.
Oh yeah.
Like, can I have more Parmesan cheese? More.
Yeah.
More.
But that's really interesting that it really this movie is about self-sacrifice in the appropriate moments on which
understanding
to do it.
Heroism, loss, the
cost of everything. It all revolves around that. For every single character has some, that is the theme. Every single one of them has a moment like that.
It's what we call in the writing room the spine of the play, or the spine of the script.
The spine of the heart, the soul.
What is the theme that wraps everything together as one?
And like talking about it now, I'm like, oh yeah, that is the theme of this whole thing is sacrifice. Interesting. Huh. I
just watched your brain just like, like level up. Where are you going to allocate those points to?
It still kind of bugs me that they're just bigger AT-ATs in that scene, but whatever.
Yeah. So with Luke finally astral project, like literally, like I still am kind of like, I mean, obviously, I feel like there was just kind of a way to like get Luke his closure and to have him let him pass on into the Force, but is it really going to kill him to astral project himself like that super hard?
Yeah, I mean, think about the distance.
Okay, yeah. I just found it, I don't know.
And also I think it's a cool.
I guess also he's been cut off from the Force for so long, and now he's just letting
it's huge endeavor.
Yeah.
Like, well, and that's the thing too, is like, I think one is kind of cool to, you know, because in the original ones, Luke was very hacky slashy, you know, lightsaber battles and stuff like that. It's cool to show that how powerful he actually was with the Force.
Yeah.
He's older. He was cut off for so long. He suddenly jumped in, and then
when he found the fucking Jedi texts, and
he
probably
can't read them.
He kind of could. He said, like, well, yeah, I read, like,
No, yeah, he's like, no, because
Yoda's page turner.
Yeah, it's like he's like, oh yeah, you're really holding on to this shit you can't read. Like, knowledge is clearly
That's
important.
right, yeah.
So it's like, and that was just, I really thought that was a very good send off for him because it showed how powerful he was to be able to project yourself that far, and also it wasn't just like he was standing there. Like he was having a fight, and like having to keep his concentration. But also I really loved the whole him fading out. One, because of Yoda. Like that was kind of fun. This is one of those.
With the sunset?
The two sunset. It's
like it's out, not Tatooine?
Yeah. I was like, that gave me chill. I was like, see, again, Easter egg, but not.
A nice call, because it's a
callback.
It's a callback to Luke's childhood. It's more about who the character is. It's not necessarily like, there's doing fan service for the fans, and then there's doing a correct motive for the character that happens to be fan service.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, like with Luke and Leia's conversation, that's not for us as the audience. That's for Luke and Leia. That's well deserved for Luke and Leia. As fans, we get that moment finally.
Yeah.
And it becomes a service for us because
we understand
to
the
do
levity
true
of it.
fan service, you need to treat the characters properly because that's who we're connected to. The characters. So we're connected to Luke. We know Luke grew up on Tatooine. We have that iconic shot of the two sunsets and John Williams' score coming in with Luke figuring out what his life is.
Well, no,
we as young people identified, like, what are we doing with our life?
Well, also, but like even like that, and just a lore standpoint, that is the start of the Luke Skywalker legend,
the journey. Yeah,
the beginning of him becoming the Jedi Knight.
Exactly.
That moment, and then fading out to a similar
full circle. Put the button on it. It is Luke with the two sunsets still, because that is also for him. He probably chose that place because of something like, or that specific spot on the, or maybe it just happened to be that, but that it's so much of a Luke thing.
Yeah.
It's not just for the fans, it's for Luke.
And it's a very cool Jedi thing. And it's also his sacrifice arc.
Yeah.
I'm sure he knew that going in.
Oh yeah. He definitely knew he wasn't coming back from
also because of how calm, like after he like snapped out of it and then he went and he sat down on the rock and just watched the sunset. And
are you ready for one thing about that doesn't make sense though?
What?
When he fades away, why wouldn't there just be a metal arm sitting there? Or metal hand?
Oh, and also weirdly, no.
Because his cloak floats away.
I'm trying to remember, did Yoda's clothes stay or did his clothes disappear too?
He's like under fabric. It just...
Oh, same with Obi-Wan. His robe stayed. Yep. But then he's seen his Force Ghost has a robe.
I mean, they're not just be naked ghosts.
No, but like but when Darth Vader strikes him down, the cloak
robes.
But then when he shows up again, he has his cloak on.
Yeah, because he's projecting an idea of himself out there.
So then he took his robot arm with him. But okay, I like the idea. I mean, it would totally kill the moment, but just the idea,
a naked Force ghost.
No, like so he's sitting there and then Luke like evaporates and you just hear clank, clank, clank. That'd be really funny, but that would maybe
there could have been something super like touching of like maybe he fades away and like it doesn't go clank clank, but like maybe it was like resting on the rock and then it just is there, and then a zoom in on like the robe floats away, revealing the metal hand on like close up.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan Johnson, hire me.
Yeah, that actually would have been like just especially with how he was so like killer at subtle shots. You could have made that where even you didn't realize he was fading away until you'd have to play around with it. But yeah, I could definitely see that and being true to you're not taking that robot arm with you. But because I mean when Anakin becomes a Force Ghost, he looks like he did before his fight with Obi-Wan. He doesn't look like Darth Vader. Can Sith not become Force Ghosts, or is it just we never see them because we're always following the heroes?
It is more of a thing that is recognized through the Jedi.
Well, because that makes sense too, because they're like Sith are so much more physical Force. In this realm here, but then like Yoda and Qui-Gon are very about.
And it wasn't even a thing until Qui-Gon Qui-Gon, from his death, he discovered through becoming part of the Force, how to be a Force ghost.
Keep a consciousness.
Because at the end of Revenge of the Sith, Yoda says something about your old master has...
Yeah, while you're watching him, your old master has like a conversation for you.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? What?
Yeah.
What?
All right, so Rey's story now. Man, Rey's arc, which fits closely in with Luke here. Because, I mean, Rey is very much battling with what the fucking Force means.
Yeah. Does she have a sacrifice arc?
I think her whole arc is, like, when she's training with Luke, it's very clear of how lost she is.
I also want to point out that everyone's real willy-nilly about picking up a lightsaber and swinging around.
In these ones, yeah.
I'm like, aren't you scared? I've played with sword stuff a lot, and I hit myself all the time.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yep, and there goes my limb. All right.
Like, well, produced by George Lucas. You know, like, it always kills me. I'm like, you guys realize this is like the intensity of the sun, like this cuts through metal, like.
So, I mean, Rey, I feel like it's like her final moment on the salt planet when she's able to lift the rocks to save everybody. I mean, that's kind of like her arc completion.
Yeah.
Is through everything that she's gone through in this movie, from being teased and made fun of by Luke with the leaf. Reach out.
Like, I like how Luke was kind of like the comic relief at times, but like I thought it was done very well.
I think that was actually the problem that Hamill had with the script, was little moments like that.
A little too goofy. Wanted it a little more serious.
Yeah, because Luke was a little bit more pensive and serious towards like the end of Return, you know?
Yeah.
So, but also
he was annoying.
Yeah.
Like when he shows up to Jabba's palace and he's got this like
weird swag.
Yeah, right? He's got this weird swag. You're like, calm down. Like,
it's like a it's not even like swag.
It's cocky.
Yeah.
It was,
I am now a Jedi.
It's like, no, you're not. Fuck off. Like,
I read the entire people's history. Look how smart I am.
Yeah. Yeah. There was like this smugness to him.
So Rey's struggle with what's going on with her inside of the Force, and it's like literally how they do a good job of showing like how oddly connected to the Force she is, but we're still not getting why, you know?
Yeah.
And even Luke is terrified of it and like is reluctant to teach her because of what he's seen where it took Ben, you know?
Well, and also I think he's reluctant to teach her because it goes against his entire ideology of no more Jedi. Like,
so like I think if with him first starting to show it to her, it's like, okay, so this isn't about becoming a Jedi. This is about understanding the Force and the powers that you have and the responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility.
Understand the history so you're not doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
And like, and I loved that whole thing about like they trained Darth Vader. Mm-hmm. Then he killed all of them. Mm-hmm. Do you not see what I'm saying is the fucking problem with this cycle? And I really liked, it's like, yeah, like granted he's coming off really intense and just very closed-minded, but it makes sense why he would be like that.
Yeah.
And especially years of isolation of just festering over this one mistake towards his family. It's like, yeah, of course he'd be a jaded dick about it and wouldn't want to train her.
Exactly.
Because all he's seeing is another Kylo.
Exactly.
The possibility of another Kylo that the galaxy's gonna have to fucking deal with. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna be responsible for making it.
So like when Luke finally kind of like casts her away, and she realizes that she's not gonna get what she needs from Luke. But then she also feels like she can save Kylo. That's her arc. Is she realizes that Kylo is actually lost.
Yeah.
Because when she's like, no, don't do this. Don't do this, Ben. I saw who you are. I saw where this is supposed to go. Still not recognizing. Oh no, fucking Snoke, put those things in your fucking mind.
Yeah,
you know.
But that's also that I don't think that's necessarily like a bad thing. That is blind hope.
Yeah,
she doesn't want to give up on him. No, because even though this spark of light might have been a lie, it's still it's what's keeping her going. Yeah, and I like that because it shows the goodness in her, you know, like, which I mean, I know that there was all that talk about her going to the dark side, and I think that would you could have written that to make this whole thing more interesting.
I mean, we'll see what happens in the third one.
Oh yeah, forgot. The third one's coming out. Maybe she will go to the dark
I mean,
side.
they did leave it in a way that she could still easily like. No, I guess no. This movie really did solidify that.
She is light side, he is dark side.
Yeah.
For the time being.
And it's not even like, I wouldn't even say like Jedi to Sith. Like,
I think that now I agree with you. That terminology is Old Republic shit.
Yeah.
Now, strictly, because even then, even with like Palpatine and everything like that, they're not Sith in a lot of ways, because they like the Bible. They kind of take certain things. And then go, oh, this is the way of the Sith. It's like, not really. Like from the old Korriban texts from back in the day, like, no, you guys you're a dark Jedi.
yeah.
Because you're picking and kind of like the Jedi.
But just, you're a dark Force user. I wouldn't say a dark Jedi, because a Jedi really automatically like starts to lean into you're more light side.
Well, I mean, like Dark Jedi in the sense of just like the Jedi Council before the fall, it was very hypocritical.
Yeah, okay.
They weren't following the teachings to the T. They were kind of wishy-washy. The whole training Anakin thing.
Yeah, they were becoming. They became a political system,
Which was part of their downfall.
Yeah,
Which is like
also what Ahsoka has talked about. Is like the Jedi way is not supposed to be about being a politician.
There you go. And like, so you have Ahsoka as a 4-point for the Jedi, and then think of Maul.
Yeah.
Maul is the union spokesperson for the Sith.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, no, you are fucking up these archaic and old teachings to better suit your agenda.
Yeah.
Not what they are actually
And that's
supposed
all
to be.
washed away now, and now we just have Kylo.
They're two Force users.
Yeah, one that uses the dark side more, and one that is focusing on trying to be more light
Yeah,
side.
so it's like the Jedi, the Jedi, and so that's why this
The
title,
Jedi and the Sith are done.
That's why this title is very fitting. The Last Jedi, and then Luke being like, "I will not be the Last Jedi." It's like you kind of are.
You kind of are, and it's all. But it is kind of like a passing of the torch. Like she is going to be.
Yeah.
Well, but then yeah, there could be one more Jedi, but like there is going to be the Last Jedi, because there is going to be no more Jedi after all of this.
Yeah, and if they were to be Jedi, it'd almost be like a different branch of the church kind of thing. It would be a complete overhaul, a new.
It would be the Skywalker in. Instead of Lutheran.
Yeah, the sky. Oh, okay, I see what you're doing. But even that even kind of opens up a whole conversation of that's cool, because now you can do a whole new Star Wars lore Jedi thing of actually not rebuilding it like Luke wanted to do, the OG, the old way of the sacred text that I can't read, but figure it out. But like a new system.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
I think just one last thing, just for us to maybe talk about, because we should be wrapping it up soon. We're getting really late.
Oh yeah.
Just the last little moment of the clearly Force sensitive children.
But again, not clearly, because it was subtle and it was cool. Again, if you looked away for a split second, you would have. Why did they show this kid sweeping?
No, it's not only, but like, okay, there's that kid in that stable that has set up the events that are happening on that salt planet.
Yeah.
And it's like, how the fuck does he know that this isn't in the future where all of a sudden these stories are now being passed on and told? It's like, no, this kid is fucking
the kid saw it somehow,
or the kid is a god. Like we're all just watching his story.
Yeah, telling this battle that just happened with Luke, the legend Luke Skywalker.
That's maybe even like talking about it like as it's happening.
That's kind of fun to think about. Like. In the kids, from the kid's point of view, just coming from its
imagination,
imagination.
But no, the force is
projecting it to her somehow.
Yeah, and then that kid that has the quick little just very subtle, reaches out, and then like the broom just whoop goes to their hand.
Yeah, again, but go fucking Rian Johnson, man.
And then a quick little pose where a very clear like light subtle thing is like as the kid's looking up into the stars. And they raise the broom. You see like the light reflection as if it's a lightsaber extending.
Yeah. Well, it's and then pans out to like a silhouette, and the way they're holding the broom, it's like he's holding a lightsaber. God, I was really very, very impressed. I didn't put together that whole kid telling the story thing. I didn't think of it that much, but I am very impressed with just the subtlety on these like moments that are just like.
And that it's not trying to force it in your
It's
face.
not pandering. Like, look what I did.
It's not insulting to the audience's intelligence.
Yeah, you know, it's
Like, this is a movie that you can watch multiple times and find stuff in.
Yeah, I finished and I was like, I told Fallon, I was like, this is probably one of my like favorite Star Wars movies. Like, and not like, I love Revenge of the Sith mainly for the end fight. Mm-hmm. Like, that choreograph is just, that's like a 30-minute long fight scene, and I can watch it over and over again because it's just so well done. And it's interesting to watch. But like, this and like Rogue One have to be like my top two of just good fucking sci-fi just movie.
What's interesting I'm noticing about the lightsaber battles in this one versus the lightsaber battles from the prequel trilogy is how much more the battles in this are the cinematography and the filming is much closer in person, as opposed to like in the other ones you kind of see like full body and frame fighting, while this is kind of more like sweeping and like you're getting like close-ups of their face, and it's like more like 3/4 body movements and quicker movements, quicker cuts.
I mean, and we'll just kind of like put this to bed too. Say what you want about the prequels, majority of their lightsaber fight scenes were fucking rad.
They're the best lightsaber fight scenes.
You're not going to top those. Like Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan.
The only times I've seen lightsaber battles get anywhere near as good is in the animated series.
Or real fencing clubs that do battles like for YouTube and shit. Mm-hmm. Like
those people.
Like the lightsaber club. I can't remember what that group's called. The lightsaber club. Like, but it's like, you know, prequels to, originals to this sequel, very hacky slashy.
Yeah.
And I just think that's the way it's going to be because you don't have the training schools that they had. But yeah, I mean, you'll say what you want about the prequels. You'll never beat those fight scenes because they're fucking rad. They're all really like I mean, famously the icing on the cake is the last one because that's just like ridiculous, like over the fucking Mustafar and the lava and the but like all of like even fucking Yoda and Palpatine, he's fucking throwing fucking discs at each other and shit. Like that one was cool too because it starts off as a lightsaber fight scene, but then it becomes like a force battle, you know. But yeah, just they're hacky. It's like that whole scene with Snoke's guard, the red guards, is just.
It's kind of. I mean, it's okay. It's fun.
Yeah, but it's like if you look.
I like how ruthless it is.
Yeah, but if you look at it from a choreographed standpoint,
it's nowhere near as
good. Garbage.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as good.
Like the red guys are doing.
It's way too flashy.
Yeah, like the red guys are doing a lot of like twirlies and flippies and stuff
for no reason.
For not just to woo, like just to do it.
Yeah. So I'm glad we both agree that this is actually not a bad Star Wars.
Not at all. I was very, very pleasantly surprised.
I mean, I don't know if I would say it's my favorite one, but it is definitely.
You didn't.
No, I mean, Empire I think will always be my favorite one,
and I think that's a fair and kind of across the board.
Yeah,
I would say for the ones that have been bashed the most, this is definitely my favorite one.
I mean, this one actually. I mean, this one and Revenge. Like, it might be like Empire, this, and Revenge.
Oh, okay. That's a solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is actually I think I'm going to go with my number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I really enjoyed it.
I like that.
And I really just liked the bringing closure
There's also like, as I brought up in my review, like the originality and the innovativeness that Rian Johnson brought to this goddamn script and to this story. He brought something fresh, new.
Yeah.
That, you know.
And my biggest thing, and I think y'all have heard me say it before, there is a level of tension.
Yeah.
I'm actually like, oh, how are they going, especially like seeing it for the second time, forgetting a lot of it. They're literally ducks in a barrel.
Really helps,
fish in a barrel.
What helps about it is the time crisis.
Yeah. They have 18 hours to solve this, and it made
they're running out of fuel or they're going to die.
Yeah, they're going to be fish in a barrel with 15 bad guys behind them, you know? And yeah, I just think that this was very fun. Mm-hmm. And I feel really bad about getting into that toxicity.
Getting wrapped up in it in the earlier years.
Yeah, like just be like no, you're being stupid. I mean, granted, I was younger, not by much actually, but
yep, we're not that far away from it, bud.
Yeah, it seems far away for some reason.
I feel like this podcast has kind of changed our point of view on movies here.
Oh yeah, it makes us definitely watch them differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll let you go now.
Yeah. Where this is almost a 2-hour long podcast.
Ooh.
Yep.
I've had a feeling it would be that way.
I didn't think, Jesus.
If you enjoyed, we are going to be doing the last
Rise of Skywalker next week.
Rise of Skywalker, and it probably won't be as long as this because it's not Rian Johnson, man. I'm going to be like, this movie sucks.
Thank you, Jar Jar Abrams. No.
But yeah, so thank you for listening and subscribe and follow.
Share with friends. Thank you all for listening. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you, and we will see you next week or talk to you next week.
This is the May.
I'm
I'm Jacob.
I'm Tommy.
And this is
Tommy and Jacob's mixtape.